I want to leave my partner of almost 15 years but I don't feel like I can. Does that mean I should just tough it out? Sorry for how long this post is, I didn't realize how much I had to say until I started typing it out. But I pretty much feel like I'm trapped in this relationship because his whole life is basically built around me, and I don't know how I'm supposed to just yank all that away from him when he hasn't even done anything to deserve being broken up with. But being stuck with a life that I don't think I want anymore because of a decision I made when I was 16 doesn't really feel fair to me either, so I really just don't know what to do. So the backstory is that I've been with Alex since we were both in our sophomore year of high school. Originally we just had a normal teenage relationship, but what ended up happening was that his parents had a really nasty divorce and weren't treating him right at home. Plus he was scared that his dad was going to make him move out of town and have to transfer to a different school, so then our junior year I asked my parents if they would allow Alex to move into our house and they said yes. But after Alex was living with us it was basically like we were married. At the time it wasn't even that I wanted to break up with him, but I already knew that even if I had wanted to I couldn't because of how my parents would have acted after how much convincing it took to get them to let Alex move in. When we graduated high school I decided to go to college but Alex couldn't, so instead he got a job in the same city so that we could get an apartment together. We lived in that city until a couple of years after I graduated college and then we moved a couple of times until we ended up in the city where we live now. The whole time in my 20s I guess I did feel kind of bad that I was missing out on some of the classic experiences of getting to go out with my friends and meet guys and all that, but it didn't seem like that big of a deal at the time and I kept telling myself that I was just being silly or that it was normal to have those grass is greener thoughts. It didn't really start to feel like an actual problem until about 3 years ago when being in lockdown and spending all of our time together made me finally just start to notice that Alex and I are really different people than we were when we first got together. We still got along fine but it felt more like we were roommates than being in a relationship and I realized that if I met Alex now, I don't think I'd start dating him. But that still didn't seem like enough of a reason to break up over. It's not that I was unhappy with Alex or that things were bad. But I guess that's where the cracks started to show, and so for the last couple of years it's been in the back of my mind that maybe it was a bad idea to effectively get married so young. But I also kept thinking that the pandemic was hard on everyone and that eventually things would fade back to normal. But then this year a few other things have happened, that I don't necessarily want to get into in this post. But I've realized that I might actually be missing out on better things by just sticking with what's good enough. I was okay with the idea of staying with Alex when I didn't think I had a reason to not want to be with him, but now I feel like I do have a reason to want to break up with Alex. But I just don't know how I can do that to him when I know that I'm pretty much his only friend because I've made him move cities to come where I was getting a job, and my family is the only family that he really has at this point, and again he hasn't even done anything except be the same person that he's always been, who isn't even a bad person and who I always used to like. So I just don't know what to do. I wish I could go back in time and tell myself not to date him or at least not to have my parents move him into our house. But obviously that's not an option, so I'm hoping somebody can give me some advice. Is this just a normal thing you have to learn to deal with when you've been with someone for a long time and I just have to figure out how to get over it and move past it? Comment. It's that obvious. Reread your second to last paragraph. Leave him before you cheat. Which if you're leaving because of someone else, you've already cheated. He deserves better. Fair, but I haven't cheated on Alex and I never would. After the incident with this other person that even made me start questioning my feelings about the relationship, I distanced myself from them because I'm not that kind of person. Look, relationships take work. I've been with my wife for 32 years. There have been dry spells. We work through them. Keep dating, communication is probably the most important, and keep up with the intimacy, not just sex. You need to have a heart-to-heart. They need to know. If you are calling it an incident, then to me, lines were crossed that could be taken as cheating. If you've checked out from salvaging your relationship, then just set them free. If your bedroom frequency has declined, they probably suspect something. We not completely dumb all the time. I can relate to this post so much. I married the only girl I ever dated. I lost my virginity to her on our wedding night. Now I have major regrets. Please, if you have doubts and have been stuck in a life you don't want, please leave. Don't worry about what he thinks or how intertwined your lives are. Just leave. Think about the freedom you will finally experience and get to enjoy. Think about all the experiences you always wanted to have. Go have fun. In the most honest way I can say, you are doing something horrible to him. You are not doing him a kindness. You can't tough it out forever. You're already thinking you want to go and you're not even halfway through life. Eventually you will hate him enough to finally leave. How much more time are you going to waste? How much more of his life are you going to suck away? 2 years? 10? What if his true love is out there right now, right in front of his face, but he thinks you're the one, so he's letting her slip through his fingers? What if he meets someone new and they want 5 kids, but by then he's decided he's too old for even one? You're making all of these time-sensitive decisions for him right now by wasting the very time he would spend on them. Leave him now, drop this ruse, and let him live his real life. Let him find love. Have kids. Do whatever it is he wants to do, that he thinks you want to do with him. Set him free by setting yourself free. Next story 2. AITA for telling my wife that I would be perfectly capable of doing what she does. I have a wife and a daughter. I work in finance and my wife is a stay-at-home mom, as I earn sufficient for the both of us. My wife is a great Sam and takes great care of our house. I was lucky to buy a home as I earn well in a medium cost of living city. I love my wife, but she finds it humorous to say that I am incapable of doing household tasks. We had agreed that she would do them when we decided she would stay at home, but I do stuff occasionally when we are both home if she asks me to, but then if I say load the dishwasher for her, she will claim I did it wrong just because I do it different than she does. It still cleans well. The other day we were eating and she told me about her day and how she went grocery shopping and optimized the cost by buying specific items at specific stores and accounting for the cost of traveling to each store, and she made an offhand remark that I would never be able to do that and said it in a "what would you ever do without me" kind of way. I replied back saying that of course I could do it. I handle complex decisions and calculations at my work as I work in finance, and that I have a master's degree and what I do involves more intellect than household operations. Even though I acknowledged and appreciate what she does, I would be capable if the roles were reversed. She got angry and seemed to think I was calling her stupid when I wasn't, and then cried, and now I feel like an op. She said she was a very good student and had she graduated she would be in my position as well. My wife and I met in college, but she was an international student studying physics and computer science, and she had issues with her loan from her home country and could not afford to complete it, and we got married then so she could stay. Initially she wanted to complete it later after finding the funds, but she agreed to be a Sam when I got a good job, and I appreciate that a lot as we were able to have a kid early on even while I was both completing my master's and working full-time. Comment. Yes, op should read well between the lines. The wife is not happy in her role right now. She might have thought she'd be enjoying a Sam life but found out it's not fulfilling long term. I totally adored staying with my baby for 1 year, loved doing everything around the house, but by the end of the year I felt as if my brain was shrinking. I talked baby talk most of the day, was talking to other moms about baby stuff and wasn't intellectually challenged at all. I couldn't do it long term. Op, if you value your wife, sit down with her calmly and ask her how she feels, what wishes she has, and if there was anything she'd like to change. Show her that you listen and care. Just because she agreed to a lifestyle doesn't mean she cannot change her mind. If she wants to go study part-time, make this possible for her. Hire a cleaner and send the kid to daycare. Don't expect her to do that little household on the side. Give her a break. Oh, this reeks of an insecure man who wants to keep his talented wife in check by securing she stays economically dependent. She was an academic snob. You mean, she was doing so well academically that she was able to choose the institution, including Ivy League ones? I tell her it is hard to start a career late, way to demotivate an already insecure person. Subtle remarks like this can nag at you until you believe them yourself and think you will never be able to make it in life. If this woman is as clever as Op describes her, I really hope she wakes up soon and realizes the manipulation and disappointment she has been subjected to. The wife sounds way above Op's league, and I'm sure he realized that pretty early on and made sure to chain her to him while her visa status was still insecure and she hadn't finished her education. Pathetic. YTA. Oh dear. You need to go back to husband's school. She was telling you about her day and probably was pleased that she'd shopped the way she did. It might not be rocket science, but as well as sharing facts about her day, she wanted recognition of her value to you. I will say that again, as you are a slow learner, Mr. Master's degree. She wanted recognition of her value to you. A comparison of your job skills was inappropriate. Of course, if you blether on about your fancy pants finance capabilities, she will feel put down. Your attitude of "I do really clever financial stuff, so of course I can do your job" is disrespectful and hurtful. Household management is a skill. It is both practical and requires specialist knowledge. It requires someone who can get things done. You just see the bit of the iceberg that sticks out above the water and you have no idea of how much organizational skill is going into your household. I suggest you apologize profusely, give her lots of hugs if she will have them, flowers, chocolates and a wild night in for her. And never disrespect what she does ever again.